YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Devon. I'm back here with another film review. This one I'm very excited to discuss. I just watched it. I didn't want to sit. I didn't want it to digest. I didn't want to sleep on it. I just wanted to get right ahead into it. This film that I just watched was Sylvie's Love. It was released on Amazon Studios, starring Tessa Thompson. You know her from Dear White People, and I believe she's also in the Thor films. And Namdi Asamoah, who this is the first role I've ever seen him in. Namdi Asamoah was a Raider, an Eagle, and a 49er. He's also married to Kerry Washington. And they also had Asia King. That's my baby from How to Get Away with Murder. And Eva Longoria, who produced the film, had a small role in it as well. So I just want to get into, should you watch this film? Is it trash or not? And let's go right into it, without going too deep into the plot. So the story is a love story, right? It's about two people. You have Sylvie, who's played by Tessa Thompson. Long story short, it's Harlem. It's the 1950s. Her goal is that she wants to be or work in television. It's the 1950s, as a black woman. And, Nnamdi Asamoah's character, which is Robert, he meets her. And at the time, let's just say for the 1950s, her situation, she had an entanglement in the 1950s. I don't want to give too much of the story away, but it was a love story. They fall in love, and like any true love stories or situations, like in a Notebook, you fall in love, something happens where you have to get pulled apart, something happens where they get back together again, and they might pull apart one more time, but then something happens where they make a final decision that we're either going to commit to being together or we're not. And that's how the story goes. But what I think is important about this film is I don't like a lot of love stories. I've already looked at love stories as quote-unquote chick flicks. I feel like they're unrealistic. I feel like love stories is the reason why men and women sometimes have unrealistic expectations of their spouse, as in the Prince Charming, the perfect woman is just going to come around, you're going to run into them, everything's just going to be all hunky-dory and smooth and easy sailing. But this one felt different, and I think the reason why is, number one, the chemistry. The chemistry between the two felt real. The acting was great. For Nnamdi, this is his first role that I've ever seen him in. I know he was an NFL cornerback, but he took it seriously. Tessa has already been able to act. Asia King, the acting was superb. I didn't feel like anybody came off cheesy or corny. It wasn't a low-budget black film. There was some money definitely put behind the project. Of course, any romantic film is going to have a little cheesy saying in it. You look past the cheesy saying. There was a sex scene in it, it was more of like a montage scene, and I wanted to bring this up because it was tasteful. It wasn't like some of these other movies where, a sex scene. Everybody likes to have sex, but it's just like, it wasn't really that necessary what you had to do or what you showed there. So I wanted to point that out. I wanted to point out two situations that I think every man and woman goes through. And what Tessa Thompson's character, or what Sylvie did, it was the lover versus the provider situation. And I think a lot of women have the person that they really love and they're sexually attractive to, that they want to be with. And on the flip side, they have another option, which is the provider. Whereas this guy, the lover might not be as good to me. It might not be able to support me. but there's the provider who can take care of me and take care of our kids if we have them together. I think a lot of people or a lot of women would choose the provider, but always have that fire inside, or that burning desire inside for the lover. I think Namdi, or I say Robert's, his situation was, being a man and feeling conflicted about what he wanted to do, and how he wanted to provide for his wife or provide for his spouse. So because both of them had these two inner conflicts, that's why they tend to come together and get pulled apart. And as I was saying earlier, I don't normally believe in most romantic comedies, not even romantic comedies, most romance films, because I feel like they're cheesy. But I really feel like this one taught me something that I think a lot of romantic films don't show, or they try to illustrate it across, but it doesn't come across to me as genuine. And that if someone really loves you, true love is selfless. Or what I mean by that is that the person would rather see you happy even if you're not with them. Or they want the best for that person, even if it means they have to sacrifice something, or if the best for that person doesn't involve you in their life. And I really believed it in this situation. To be honest, it kind of taught me something about love. The acting was great. The plot was great. It was believable. It goes from 1957 to 1962 to 1963. So we're starting to see how things are changing with Robert's character who played the jazz, and then jazz is kind of changing more into like a rock and roll or a funk and pop, or television, having more opportunities for people of color. And then Asia King's character seems like she's kind of on the front lines for the civil rights movement. It's not a major subplot at all, but to see it all come together, to see black love in a positive light was definitely something worth watching. Now, is the film trash or not? No, this wasn't a trash film at all. I think it was a great film. I think it was heartwarming. Even the way it was directed, the cinematography, it didn't feel cheap. It's like it was every shot was pretty well thought out for what they were trying to do budget wise, and for the information, the message they wanted to get conveyed across. I think everyone who has Amazon Prime should go watch this movie. I give it a thumbs up. I give it a 9 out of 10. I think everyone should watch it during this holiday season. Watch it with your loved ones. Watch it with your spouse. Watch it with your significant other. Watch it with that person who ain't really your significant other, but I mean, you ain't got nothing better to do with the shorty anyways. It's a good film. Enjoy it. Enjoy your evening. I'll post more films if you want me to do more film reviews in the future. I'm out. Stay safe. God bless.